Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hello, Roberters. How are you this evening? Welcome to J is for Justice. I am your host, Jay, and wow, that is huge. That's what she said, eh? Let's get that a little bit smaller up there. Yikes, Ashley. How are you? The sea of green and blue. I love you guys. I'm having some storms here, so bear with me. Hopefully, I stay with you guys because it just started downpouring. We've had like on and off thunder, but the thunder and lightning is pretty freaky here. So let me resize this shiz. So hope you guys had a great Monday. You know, Mondays are Mondays. But I'm glad that you guys are all here this evening. No, I didn't cut my hair. Cut his mic. Cut his mic. Oh, he sees the guy on the screen. Mike Sander. I never get the guy's jokes. I'm always like airheaded. At any rate, I wanted to bring my panel guest on. I will in just a second. Let me resize this mess on my screen before I move forward because I'll forget. Because that's what Roberters do. So moderators, thanks for joining tonight. I forgot I wasn't on camera either, but that's okay. I am so tired from last night. I think we all could use some good Z's tonight, but we just couldn't get enough, could we? So let me bring in my panel. And I am going to actually hide all of them and bring them in one by one. We've got Maligator. And then I snapped. And then we have Heather J. And we have Incognito Potato. Hello, Potato. Sultry. She's so sultry. Ooh, okay. I just cut you guys off. So I wanna show you guys something real quick before we begin. So yesterday, or last night rather, Maligator was kind enough to share a family photo of her little brother, or big brother rather, with John Wayne Gacy, right? So I thought I would share a photo that I'm proud of as well, since I know Maligator is super proud of that photo. Did I unmute you guys? I didn't. Okay, you guys are unmuted now. Say hi again.
Hi.
Okay, and they'll be back with you in a second. So, all right, let me real quick share my photo that I'm proud of. And I just came across this. This is why I'm showing it. But ta-da! It is me and the beautiful Andrea Canning. Do you guys know who Andrea Canning is? She's like my idol. She's the Dateline correspondent. And that's a selfie. I got a selfie with her, and that shit ain't photoshopped. So, Unmasked Channel and Father Snuffles can never, ever take this moment away from me. They can email producers all day long with lies, but they can't take this shit away. So, this is going to go in a frame behind me. I'm going to get a frame for it. What do you think?
I think it's awesome.
Pretty sweet.
And you should be proud of that. Yep.
Yeah, I am. I mean,
no one can take that away.
Yeah, they can't. And they can try and they can hate and all their good stuff and whatever it is they do. But they can't take that moment because that moment was real. And I got that moment caught on camera. So, all right. Shall we recap our lovely night last night? Because we were up for 6 hours on here. Yes, she's amazing. Oh, Potato was the one that drifted off. She had internet problems in Britain.
I did. It kept on. All I could hear was robots, and then I thought, well, I'll just end it and then I'll come back in, and it wouldn't even let me. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to bed then.
Oh, and she missed the spirit box and
No.
and Maligator's lamp. Maligator's lamp is now like a official part of the podcast. We've adopted it. So we're doing a contest. Email the team. What is the team email?
j4jpodcast@gmail.com.
Isn't it podcast team?
Yes.
Okay.
j4jpodcastteam@gmail.com.
I think the mods can throw it up in chat, but you guys email your ideas to name Maligator's lamp.
Happy Girl said in bold letters, keep Maligator's camera off or I am out of
Happy girl. I saw her say something earlier on, I think it was on YouTube, a comment. I was looking at my notifications. She said she was so tired. But I was like, oh my gosh. She said something about being so tired and Maligator's lamp. Like, your lamp is famous now. There's no way around it.
Perfect.
Hey, it could be worse.
I slept till 3 today.
I didn't.
Well,
You know what
had
I
shift
did?
till 5.
Do you know what I did? I am guilty as charged. I didn't get enough. So I watched day 12, parts 1 through 4, but I didn't watch it in its entirety, but I found the good parts. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys tonight.
You did not.
I
She
did.
watched it without us.
I did, but it was worth it. It's going to make this so much easier, and we're going to have so much to talk about.
Sweet.
Hey,
Okay.
Rain Girl. But last night we were watching some of Cindy, and we noticed a disturbing comment or story that she told about Casey or Kaylee, and I noticed the lawyers do that too. Even Jose did it. He asked Cindy a question. He called Kaylee Casey, and she was like, "Yeah, Casey did that," but he had the wrong names. She was being a smartass. But anyways, what was I saying?
About the butt.
Jets.
Oh, Cindy and the Jets. Okay, so yeah, she was talking about how she took time off work. She was on vacation time, and he asked, like, did you guys go swimming every day when you were on vacation? And she said yes. And she said from the second day she was off, they went swimming every day. And now that makes me cringe. But she went on to say that Kaylee they would strip her down, her words, strip down at the end of her swim. And if someone was there, that was when they stripped her down and let her feel the jets and then handed her off to a person with a towel. I know this like the back of my hand now. So then Jose's like, wait a minute. Oh, you took her swimsuit off because she liked to be naked. And she was like, well, she liked to feel the jets. We'd take her over by the jets. And I think she said something about like it felt good or she said it felt good or something. She liked the jets. And he said, oh, who doesn't? And she said, yeah, it feels good on your back and your bottom. So that was pretty shocking to me, honestly. Like, the more I've thought about it today, the more shocking it feels. And they swam a lot.
Did she say bottom or butt?
Bottom.
She said bottom. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we kind of went into detail. If you guys want to go back and like scroll through last night's live, I know it's long. We talked to the lamp at the end. So if you don't want to watch that, you can just watch the first, I think the first 4 hours will be us talking to one another and watching the video. The rest is us talking to a lamp. And the lamp was talking back.
Crazy.
No, the lamp was talking back. You can't make it up.
It legit was.
Yeah, it really was. I watched it this morning and it really was replying. I was like, okay, if that was my lamp, it would be out my house.
The thing was, it only really liked Maligator. It really wasn't feeling Heather and I. Like, she got up and went to the bathroom and she's like, here, talk to it while I'm gone. It didn't do anything. And then she came back. She said something and it was like, and I was like, oh my God, what?
Mm-hmm. I said,
it was like Scott Skulls.
Ew.
Hey, Laura W. Hey, Marie Arnold, Angie B. Happy Girls. Lori Staggs. Yikes. Lucia and Onesie. The Gerber Onesie. And Board One. Did I get all of them? Mandy S. I think I got all the members that I can see so far. All right, so today we're going to be starting with, and I have notes. I'm into this now. I caught something weird, and it's changed the lenses that I'm looking at this case. And I hate when that happens, but I also love when that happens.
I'm nervous.
Because, this is part of following true crime, right? This is this is what keeps us like intrigued or things like this. So we're going to fast forward to day 12. And I don't know what the guy's name is, but he's the one that testifies about the decomposition, the trash, the whole 9 yards in the trunk. And this is so fascinating. Just wait till you hear it.
And the crazy thing, Jay, like so many people were invested in watching this day after day, but everyone that was in the live last night, no one else caught any of what we caught last night.
Nope.
Has anyone, did you guys happen to do any searches to see if anyone else has talked about the Jets in particular? Cindy and the Jets?
No.
God, that's
I've never
disturbing.
heard of it till last night. Never, ever. And I was literally every day. I watched it every day. I DVR'd it when I wasn't there.
I bet
It was
Casey
crazy.
would love to hear that someone noticed that. Because if I were her, I'd be like, damn, man. That's a big thing. Because Cindy tells a story that Casey came out and said, I want to go swimming with you guys on Father's Day. Cindy and Kaylee had been swimming, Cindy said, for almost 2 hours. That's a long time for a 2-year-old. That's a long time.
It is.
I don't think my granddaughter would stay in there that long. That's a long time. But anyways, Casey came out and, I want to join you guys. And Cindy was like, no, Kaylee's had enough. So that was kiboshed. That was when she handed her off naked to Casey holding a towel. So I don't know who else would be there because she said when someone else is there. So I don't know if she meant Lee, George, Casey, that they would strip her down, take her over to the Jets, and then hand her off to someone in a towel. But if no one was there to hand her off to, they didn't do that. They kept her in the suit. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What kind of
And the
sense
other thing
does that make?
The other thing too, so that was the last time she seen her, and she was the last one in the pool with the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. And she was the last one to swim with her as well.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to Monday is when she goes into work early, correct?
Yep, she said 7:30.
On the 16th, she goes into work an hour early because it's crazy on the weekends there in home health care. So at Gentiva, she goes in an hour early because she's an overachiever. And she is overheard in the whole office talking about someone's been in her pool and her side gate was open. Weird. This is where I'm confused.
And loud enough for everyone to hear.
Yeah, but how would she know someone was in her yard that
Because
early?
the gate was left open,
Yeah, but
and no
she
one
didn't.
ever leaves the gate.
But she didn't come home till 4. Remember, she'd let the Yorkies out. She got home from work, let the Yorkies out, and she was like, "Holy shit, the gate's open. The dogs were gonna run out." She didn't
and
say
the ladder was up.
Oh, the ladder was up, but she didn't really freak out about that. She freaked out more about the gate because she didn't want the dogs to run off. So, does she have ESP, or am I misunderstanding this? Because it seems like she was telling
It was
people
the
at
next
work
day.
shit that
That
happened.
was the next day that she told people that the gate.
The 17th.
The
Yeah, it was-
Oh, it
17th?
was?
Yes, it was the following day when she went into work. She said the gate was open
ready
and the
for
pool,
this?
something that she
Can't
thinks
make
someone
this
must
stuff
have been
up.
in her yard. After she asked George if he had done it or anyone
And
else.
Okay.
Yep.
And she knew Casey wasn't there, so it couldn't have been Casey.
So it was
Right.
the night, it was the day after Blockbuster was when she told the people at work, I think somebody was in my pool and my gate was open.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so let me take it a step further. So you mean to tell me this woman who never went one day without seeing Kaylee Marie, and I hope you have your lamp on. She never went one day without seeing Kaylee Marie Anthony, but
I
then
don't.
she notices her gate is open, her ladder is on the pool, and no one's fessing up to who was in there. But her granddaughter has been gone for 31 days, and it never crosses her mind that maybe the baby ran out to the pool when that ladder was up.
Yeah, because it was something unusual that had never happened before, but she never thought about it in those
Oh, yeah. I mean,
whole month.
so
So you-
unusual that she went and told the whole open office
Mhm.
about this incident. But for those 31 days following, she never freaking thought, oh my God, I wonder if that ladder, come on, a month?
And even if it didn't come to her straight away as well, you'd think after maybe a few days, she'd think,
You
Wow,
would
the
rack
gate
your
is open,
brain
like,
with
what happened?
everything.
yeah, she would have been thinking back to what happened the last time she saw her or the day after.
I'd be like, okay, Kaylee or Casey, the gate was open. Your baby girl I haven't seen in forever. So who was here? Who had the gate open? Who had the ladder on the pool? I mean, you would think these things would be talked about.
I mean, even just having the gate open is a huge red flag. Maybe she ran out the gate,
Right.
Maybe.
Got hit by a car. I mean, how do
Yeah.
we know?
Yeah, you'd think she'd say to Casey, like, what happened that day?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And all she
something
says
was
is, well,
strange.
I know Casey wasn't there. No, you don't know that because she pinged all over there that whole
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Potato,
pouring
did
down
her
rain right
phone-
now.
Did her phone ping at the house the day with the ladder on the 16th?
On the 16th, yeah, she was at the
All
house
day.
until she left to go to Tony's in the
So
evening.
why not ask her about the gate?
Because
Exactly.
she is. Oh, and here we are after all this happened, and they're at trial, and they didn't put together. Like she still was like, well, I knew Casey wasn't there all day. Okay, well, bitch, the pings have since come back. How are you on the stand acting like the pings don't exist? That she was around your neighborhood. Why is Cindy still saying on the stand, well, I knew Casey wasn't there that afternoon, but she was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, makes no sense. Where is Yolanda? Oh, it just angers me. It's like all these little white lies,
Yeah, and that's when Jose said that she tried calling her mom like 6 times and she wouldn't pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Lala, Aunt Lala, the lovable troll. Welcome to chat, Aunt Lala. She said, is Sister Knives here? I haven't seen Sister Knives yet, but I will fill you in on Cindy and the Jets if you'd like.
Oh,
You missed last night. I mean, Tinfoil Brat. Hey, J Mods in chat, dropping in to say hello. Thank you for hitting the like. I get too angry over this case. I think that instead of getting angry, we need to really study it because Kaylee deserves better. Sorry, wrong.
absolutely.
What up, Cher?
I mean, and YouTubers are known to find things and figure things out.
Well, this shiz is weird. I'm sorry. Okay, let's ask Cher. Cher knows this case inside and out. She's in chat. Cher, are you familiar with Cindy and the Jets? If she doesn't know this, you guys, I'm done because I know she's watched this inside and out, and Cher is the one that would speculate the most if anybody would. You know what I mean? So if she didn't catch it, I'm gonna be really
You might
scared.
have to tell her more than Cindy and the Jets.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like,
It's a
tell
little
her
vague.
story if she heard did she know that happened?
not just Cindy and the
If she knew it happened, she'd know what the hell Cindy and the Jets is, man. I mean, you don't
she does
forget
know.
something like that. She does?
She said yes.
LOL, especially her husband George. LOL.
Maybe she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
She doesn't.
Okay, so when Cindy would take Casey in the pool,
Kaylee.
Kaylee, my bad. Kaylee Marie. I'm just going to add her name on it because maybe that's why they called her that, because they couldn't keep it straight. Okay, so when Kaylee Marie would go swimming with Grandma, Grandma stated they had a thing. No, Cher doesn't know. She said she stated on the stand they had a thing that when they were done swimming, I'm so sick of saying this, it makes me want to throw up, that she would strip down Kaylee Marie out of her bathing suit and she would go feel the jets because it felt good on her back and bottom. So that was what we heard in testimony yesterday when we were listening. It was kind of scary. Oh my God, Cher. Are you stoned? Look what she just typed.
I did.
I hope Cindy isn't in chat.
Wait. Here we go.
Oh, I hope Cindy is in chat.
Oh, you was?
Hey, cousin Cindy. I was like, wait, what? Is someone named Cousin Cindy here? Holy hell. Okay, so that's what you missed last night. And then Maligator's Lamp talked to us, and that was it. So, yeah, Sunflower, if you have any suggestions for going over cases like this, go ahead and email the team as well on that one. Happy Girl says we all are stoned after the damn lamp. Okay, so let's get to it. We're going to be talking about the trunk of the car. We're going straight to cross because prosecution questioning sucks. It's not even worth watching. You pick up what they talked about and then some with Jose. He throws out little breadcrumbs, man. He's like throwing out just enough of the family secrets to make Cindy and George sit up straight. I think so much so that George actually went along with this defense, in my opinion. But we'll get to that. All right, let's listen to Jose about the trash.
Published to the jury as well.
Yes.
Now, these two photographs look completely different, do they not, sir?
Yes.
And that's as a result of what was done in the dry room.
Correct.
Now, when you testified about your inventory list and all of the...
Okay, let me just kind of give some backstory here. So he's testifying about all the trash, and he was the one that collected the evidence and took it to the dry room. So now Jose is showing him pictures, the before the dry room, after the dry room. And that's where they're at.
Things that were empty. You were testifying to an inventory that you did subsequent to them coming out of the dry room.
That is correct.
Now, you had no idea that this would be...
Did you hear Cher's crazy
critical
train?
evidence later on in the case.
You hear
I
it?
can hear you. Yeah.
Choo choo.
When I initially received it, I just received like evidence.
And you had no idea that later on this trash would become a disputed item in this case.
Correct.
So it was not your intention to intentionally destroy any type of evidence, was it, sir?
No.
But ultimately, that's kind of what happened, right?
I would object. There's no destruction of evidence. He testified to the procedure he used. When he received it, he dried it, and then he...
Speaking objections, Judge.
Objection sustained.
Sir, you had no idea that the evidence would be altered, correct?
When I received the items, in this case the trash, I just received like a trash, and then I proceed to preserve it.
To preserve it in a dry form.
Yes, 2 days.
And you had no idea that it would alter significant evidence in this case.
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
When I receive the items, I just preserve it as the protocols that we have, and then I don't consider myself that I destroy any kind of evidence because the evidence is there. I preserve it, I document it through photograph, and then I put it in the dry room, and then I preserve it in a box. Normal procedure.
Investigator Boise, no one's accusing you of destroying.
See, this poor dude was just doing his job. And it just so happens that drying out this trash made it completely null, basically. So they went through before that, like the Velveeta. It was like Velveeta. I mean, they went through item by item, and everything was empty. There was nothing left to even examine. It was gone.
Evidence. My question to you is: you had no idea that you would be altering evidence that might become important to this jury.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. There's no evidence that there was any alteration.
Dude, wait
Now-
for it. He is brilliant with this one. He gets this guy to admit that he altered evidence.
Jay, can you turn that up a little bit or no? Is that loud as it goes?
You have, was it you that package? I'm showing you now a photograph of AC. Defense, states evidence. States evidence 130. I have published that to the jury.
You may.
Is it louder now? You guys good?
Yeah.
Yes.
A little. Thank you, Judge. Can everyone see that? Not yet. Okay. Now, these are paper towels that were collected from the trash,
Yes,
and they were at one time moist,
Ooh, that word.
yes,
and then they were placed in the dry room,
yes.
and then they were dry,
When I placed it in the dry room, yes, dry.
and then you put them in a plastic bag.
Yes,
Now, Investigator Boise, it's your understanding and your knowledge that should items be needed to be tested for DNA, that you should not package them in plastic bags, correct?
Jose said moist.
that is correct, but that specific item don't have any, at this time, I don't have any values for DNA at that time.
At that time, but you don't know if at a later time this would be important for testing for DNA if someone came up with some accusation that this was more than just trash.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. He's asking him to speculate.
That question.
You anticipated this being important enough evidence to separate, correct?
Correct.
And this was important enough for you to put in a plastic bag, correct?
I just put it in the plastic bag.
And you do not know if later on it would be important to have it tested
He
for
doesn't
DNA.
know.
At that time that I placed and secured in the plastic bag, I inspected the napkins very well. I don't see any forensic values related with DNA, such blood, or any kind of indication of body fluid. Just I observed was wet, and there's no indication that was any kind of forensic values to tested for DNA.
Boom.
And you know that DNA just doesn't test blood, correct?
Correct.
You can test saliva.
Saliva, it's very difficult to determine by the lab, I guess.
Wait for it.
Cell
DNA.
breakdown. That would be?
There's no evidence that this is within the witness.
Wait for Jose's example.
Object to the speaking objections, Judge.
Next question.
Semen? You can get DNA from semen?
Yes, but
Anything with a cell breakdown, correct?
to my knowledge, yes.
So,
Do you love how Jose makes them feel uncomfortable on the
Yeah.
stand?
My question is, why wasn't all that tested wet before it was dried?
He was
Yeah, it seems
instructed.
insane.
Yeah, he was just doing his job, right? He was
Yeah.
instructed to dry it. That's what they do with all their evidence.
They had no idea what was making that moist.
Oh, potato.
I mean, that could have been decomp making it moist.
Exactly, or anything.
Saliva, semen. I mean, you don't
There's
know.
no way of them to know what was on them. Like, it just seems crazy that they wouldn't test it first.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything gets tested before it gets
So there you
dried.
go. There's another reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
They're just stacking up.
Yeah, it's like, okay, throw him out. Bye. I mean, totally not going to take any of that trash into consideration. It wasn't preserved correctly.
And you think that they would do it properly as well, especially after Cindy said that there'd been a dead body in the damn car. Like, surely you're going to go, okay, well, maybe we should test everything then.
Right. Right. And
Crazy.
her brother said that he had to leave the garage because it stunk so bad. I mean, that might be important evidence there.
Like stuff, like for instance, the Watts case, they brought all that bedding and everything. They swabbed all of that before they dried it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they fucked up.
They were just dropping the balls.
And there we go. In the bowls. You got lots of those saved up from when it was hot. So we got to drop the balls.
Balls everywhere.
Okay, so now, so he's talked about no sign of decomposition. Or no, he's going to say that. And then we're going to skip forward a little bit. So let's finish this out.
Moist balls, potato.
Oh my God.
you can unpack
That's
this.
gross.
And, sir, it was not your intention to destroy or alter any evidence when packaging this piece of evidence, correct?
Objection to the following question.
Pardon, I didn't hear you, Ms.
Sorry, I said objection to the form of the question. There's assumes facts, not in evidence.
Sustained.
It's not your intention to alter the evidence in any way, was it, sir?
Your Honor, same objection. It's the same question.
Sustained. He's been asked that question a couple of times.
This is where he's
Apologize.
wonderful. Watch.
Redirect.
He's like, I'm done.
Investigator Boise, why is it that you need to dry these items before they are stored?
The purpose to let it dry is because when we inspect the evidence that is dry, it's a part of protocol to let it dry in order to re-inspect it again, because it's a better condition to inspect the items. When the items is very dry, like for instance, example, blood on clothing, we let it dry because it's more secure for us, and at the same time, it's in good condition, better condition to be examined, that piece of evidence.
If an item is wet, is there a concern that it will become moldy?
Correct.
Does your protocol require that items be packaged in a form that where they could breathe, in paper?
Correct.
The carpet that you had discussed removing from the car during your earlier testimony, was that also dry?
Yes.
The item that you did place in plastic, was that done because there was evidence of bug larvae on that item?
I don't remember right now that specific.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Jose, I think it's
Recross on those issues.
okay. So pay attention now because he just admitted that there was larva. There was larva in this. Now listen to Jose.
You mentioned that as part of your protocol, that you dry evidence, correct?
Correct.
And you later are aware that air samples were taken of the dry garbage.
My best I don't have any recollection regarding that question, Counselor.
Okay, so you have no idea whether air samples were taken of the dry garbage?
No. You talking about the trash, Counselor? No.
Now, sir, Ms. Drain-Burdick mentioned that there was insect larvae on the napkins or in the trash, correct?
What I answer is I don't have any recollection about that.
Okay. But you're aware that you can collect DNA samples from insect larvae, aren't you? Are you not, sir?
This is not part of my expertise.
Just a second. Your objection?
Objection. This is outside of the witness.
Sustain.
Sir, you know that you can collect DNA from any cell in the body with the exception of red blood cells, do you not?
Same objection.
Sustained beyond the scope of the redirect.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Will the witness be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. So he basically knows these questions are going to get objected, but he gets them out there. That's how I feel.
Yeah, so the jury still hears them. Even though you say you don't listen to them, they still heard it.
Okay, so this guy's interesting. Now we're going to, I think this is all about chloroform. And this is directly, I think this is, hang on. This is the prosecution. Hold on. All right, so we got to go to the next vid. Hold on. Let me reshare. Now we're going to part 2. There is so much to this trial. All right, part 2 of 4. One day has 4 parts.
A German Shepherd, a full-service dog.
Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're so quiet. I'm like, could hear a pin drop.
We don't want to interrupt you when you're explaining.
No, I'm just trying to find my spot here, and there it is. Okay, so this is going to be about chloroform, and this dude cracked me up. He reminds me of I don't know the dude's name, but the guy from Full House. Oh God, the weird guy.
Which weird guy?
Not the one that just died. Not him. The Uncle Joey. I think his name is Uncle Joey.
Oh, David Coulier.
Doesn't he look like him as young or something? Can you see him?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
He just kind of reminded me of him. I don't know why. But anyways, probably because I was watching this at 3 a.m. So don't hold it against me. All right. So this is about the chloroform.
No further questions.
Straight to cross.
Cross-examination.
May it please the court. Mr. Ashton. Good morning, Dr. Rickenback.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
I want to talk a little bit get a little more in depth about your examinations. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury a little bit more about the GCMS?
The GCMS, the gas chromatography mass spectrometry instrument, is an instrument that we use, or that is used for separation of chemicals and for the identification of chemicals.
And how sensitive is this gas chromatograph mass spectrometer?
It depends, but if certain types, the ones in particular that we use, can be very, very sensitive.
So basically, you can pick up chemicals that are in, like, water?
I can detect chemicals out of the matrix of water, yes.
And any type of, it basically breaks things down how far, as far as sensitivity is concerned?
Could you say that again?
It can break it down into that
Mr.
very,
Lattimore,
very small amounts of
Could you say
chemicals can be detected using a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer system.
And then you did a second test for the flame ionization. Is that? I know I'm butchering that a little bit. The second test that you conducted.
Yes, the second test is very similar to the first test. It just uses a different detector system. The first system uses a mass spectrometer to detect. The second system is, again, the headspace gas chromatography, same technique as the first, except it uses a different a detector to identify or detect the chemicals that come off, that are separated out of the gas chromatograph.
Now, you told the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about residues of chloroform found on the Q22 portion. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell them what you mean by residues of chloroform?
Chloroform is usually found in a liquid state. And the items of evidence that I got are obviously, they're solid material. And so there was no liquid on those items. But when subjected to very sensitive techniques, the chloroform that was identified in those items can be driven off and detected by the instrument. And therefore, since it's not a liquid, it's really in very, very small amounts. It's residues of chloroform on these materials.
Okay. So they were found in very, very small amounts.
Okay, so this is why it was important that that stuff was dry. Was because they detected chloroform on those items, but because they were dry, they could only detect a very low amount. And he's going to tell you all the different things that a low amount of chloroform can be detected in. And you're going to be like, okay, next. Wait for it. It's crazy.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you can find chloroform in any number of household items, correct?
It has been detected in household cleaning agents and other items, yes.
Including detergents?
That is correct.
And you can even find chloroform in water, right? Drinking water?
It depends on the drinking water, yes, but if it's present in an amount that the instrument can detect, yes, you can detect it.
And you can also find it in chlorine from a swimming pool, can you not?
I have no firsthand knowledge. I've never analyzed the chlorinated products like water from swimming pools for chloroform, so I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Do you know if someone threw a bathing suit after going swimming in the trunk of a car, whether that might generate chloroform?
Objection, hypothetical based on facts, not evidence.
Sustain.
Sir, do you know what other products chloroform could be found in, like soda?
I've heard no firsthand knowledge that chloroform is in soda products.
Okay. Do you have you any knowledge in other items other than cleaning items that chloroform could be found in?
From my personal experience, usually it's a cleaning product that I have found chloroform in. But I mean, there may be other items that have chloroform that I haven't personally analyzed.
And those would be found in very, very low amounts, such as what you found in this case.
Objection, assumes a fact, not an evidence.
Overruled.
The items that were consistent with cleaning products that I've detected chloroform were in very small amounts, similar to these items, yes.
Yikes.
Okay. Now, can you explain to the...
Done.
Can we all just agree prosecution dropped this case? I mean, they should have had all that tested wet.
Oh, hell
Well, it
yeah.
sounds like investigators.
Yes.
I
Everything
mean-
should have been swabbed immediately.
Yeah, right from the beginning, they made mistakes.
A chromatogram is
This is
a
good here.
graphic output from an instrument, a gas chromatograph.
Okay, so I just want to say I love this. He's a brilliant lawyer. He actually has this guy come down and draw this graph. So he's literally making this guy, the expert, draw the trace amounts that were on this garbage, but are also in so many other items. He literally has the expert draw it out for the jury for his benefit. He's phenomenal.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know how he does it, but he's a good lawyer.
Something like that is really good to do as well for people who aren't understanding it, like verbally.
Visually.
It
Yeah.
makes a big impact.
Yeah,
Something
he
that's
is.
gonna fit it.
He really is brilliant.
That is a graph of the signal coming from the instrument based on if a chemical is present or not, or something that's coming off of the instrument, the chemicals that are separated. If it's detected, it'll go up in intensity, the plot will go up, and on the x-axis as it goes across, the time that it's taking for the chemicals to come off the column to be separated.
May the witness stand down, Your Honor, to demonstrate for the jury.
Witness will stand down.
KB, it's we have to stand down.
Dr. Rickenback, can you give him show us a raw example of what a chromatogram might look like?
You did, Mr. Robinborn.
Welcome, Masked Mando.
Perfect, thank you. Everybody see that okay? Okay, Dr. Rickenbach, when you do run a sample through the GCMS, does the item tell you how much chloroform is present?
In a quantitative amount telling you exactly how much, no, it does not.
Okay. And there's a difference between what is called a quantitative analysis and a qualitative analysis. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what the difference is?
A qualitative analysis is a type of analysis where you're just trying to identify or detect the substance that you're analyzing. In this case, just chloroform. You're not giving really any information in your final report as to how much is there. If you were going to give a report as to how much of a substance is in a certain sample, that would be both a qualitative, identifying the component, and then also giving it a numeric amount, which would be a quantitative.
So to break it down, qualitative tells you it's there. Yes?
Yes, that's correct.
And quantitative tells you how much.
That's correct.
Now you can't just look at a graph and tell what the quantity is, correct?
You can't tell an exact quantity. You can get some information based on relative amounts, but based on a qualitative analysis, you really wouldn't give a number.
Okay. And in fact, looking at it that way without running what's called a standard is not a very good way or a scientific way of doing this, correct? Of finding out a quantitative amount.
If you were going to report out an actual amount, just doing an analysis without a standard or without the appropriate technique for quantitative analysis would not be a good way.
Correct. Now, when you analyze these samples, you had an internal standard, is that correct?
I analyzed the samples in dual mode, if you will. I analyzed them twice. I took one cutting that was without an internal standard, and then another cutting that had an internal standard, and ran them together at the same time.
And that's how you were able to determine that they were at very, very, very low amounts.
Not with the internal standard, no.
Okay. How exactly were you able to determine that they were at very, very low amounts?
With
You know
with
what else
every
I love?
analysis,
Every time he talks about, he doesn't just say low amounts. It's very, very low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's drumming that home for the jury.
Yep. And no one corrects them. They don't object, to him saying that.
He did his research.
Yeah.
He's pretty smart.
It's appropriate
It
to
really
run
is.
what's called a negative control and a positive control. A negative control would be no sample, just to show that your instrument doesn't have the compound of interest somewhere in its system. So you make sure that the result should be negative. And then at the end of the analysis, you run what's called a positive control to make sure that the instrument is working properly so that you can detect the substance that you're looking for, in this case chloroform, appropriately. And so at the end of the analysis, I ran a positive control of chloroform, a chloroform standard that I made up myself. And based on the response of a known amount of chloroform that I analyzed, the chloroform that came out of the specimens was significantly less than the amount that I knew I had put into the instrument.
And it wasn't overwhelming amount of chloroform, was it?
On the specimens?
Yes.
It was significantly less than not the internal standard, the positive control that I analyzed.
And it wasn't the most chloroform you'd ever seen in 20 years, was it?
It was not the most chloroform I've seen in 20 years, no.
Thank you, Shell.
And it's not what you would call shockingly high levels of chloroform, would it?
No, it's not.
I love his verbs.
Now,
or his adjectives,
I know
sorry.
with the cues and the identification letters, we get a bit confused. I want to break it down if we can as to what item you tested and what you ended up getting.
Jake, can you pause it for a minute?
I sure can.
So I looked up, can you find chloroform and chlorine? Because that was one of his things about her suit. And it says chloroform can be found during the breakdown of chlorine containing compounds and may be found in small amounts of chlorinated drinking or swimming pool water.
Interesting.
It's
So
reported
another-
as a piece of the spare
Yep. It's like, okay, done.
tire cover.
I couldn't stop watching it last night because I just like watching him. Not in a weird way, but like he's just so smart.
And this is the one that you found residues of chloroform.
Residues of chloroform were identified on that specimen, yes.
And again, when we say residues, we're talking about very low levels.
Significantly lower levels than the positive control, yes.
Q23 was what, sir?
Q23 was reported to be the spare tire cover.
So it was another portion of the spare tire cover?
I think it's the entire. I'm not sure about the whole tire cover. It's that item right there.
It's just the second. You ran a test on another area of the spare tire cover.
Of a area on the cover, yes.
Okay.
It's not the entire cover.
And this was also significantly lower than your positive control at low levels.
That's correct.
Now, what are the other items from the trunk that you tested?
They were specimen Q24, reported to be the left side of trunk liner. Q25 reported to be the right side of the trunk liner.
Okay, let's start off with Q24. What were your results with this? Was this consistent with chloroform?
That a chemical consistent with chloroform was detected on that item.
And when you say consistent with, you mean one of the tests detected it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that would still be at these low levels, correct?
That's correct.
And the second method didn't even pick it up.
That's correct.
So it's 1 out of 2 tests. And that's when you say it's consistent with.
That's correct.
That phrase consistent with is a pretty tricky phrase, right? You have to explain it?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you say that again, Mr. Rottenborn?
Q25 was the right trunk liner?
Q25 was reported to be the right side of trunk liner.
And this was also consistent with, right?
That a chemical consistent with chloroform was detected. Yes.
And that's because you had the one test that was at very low levels and the second test that didn't even pick it up.
That is correct.
These nuts.
Now, what other items did you test from the car?
Item Q44 was reported to be a piece of the spare tire cover.
And what were the results of that?
That chloroform, residues of chloroform was identified on that item.
At the low levels.
At significantly lower levels than the positive control, yes.
Any other items that you tested from the car?
Specimen Q45 reported to be a piece of the spare tire cover.
Look at Scotty Skulls coming in hot.
And that was the same results as Q44?
Yes, that residues of chloroform were identified.
At significantly lower levels than your positive control.
Yes.
What else did you test from the car?
I'm not sure what, I have tested other items, but I'm not sure if they came from the car or where they came from. But on this submission, this batch of submission, those are the only pieces of evidence.
Okay, so I just want to throw something out there real quick. If we are to believe the defense's theory that Kaylee Marie drowned, with all intents and purposes, if she fell in the pool in her clothes and those clothes were in the trunk as she lay in there, that could have been the low levels of chloroform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It goes right in with their theory.
Yeah.
But still explain the duct tape.
Yeah.
I can't.
The thing.
But I can say that they're telling a story and the prosecution didn't tell a story.
Nope.
They didn't tell us how she died. All they told us was that Casey was a liar. Casey was out partying. I mean, that's pretty much all I've gotten from them.
It was character assassination. That's it.
And you got to do better than that with juries. You've got to do better because people now look at things like, okay, he might be a cheater, but it doesn't make him a murderer.
Yeah.
We're smart enough, you know?
They want to know the evidence and stuff as well. And they made mistakes right from the beginning with the evidence. And it's like one of the most important things that the jury looks for.
The jury did their damn job.
Yeah.
Especially a first-degree murder charge. I mean, of a child. You want all your I's dotted and T's crossed, and they did not swab or do their job.
But look at it goes the opposite so many times. Look at Strawberry Shortcake in the Scott Peterson case. She so badly wanted to be on that jury to find him guilty.
Mm-hmm.
She already had him guilty before she even sat in the jury chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud of this jury that they didn't do that they didn't go with the baby killer, that they used the evidence that was brought before them. And that's what you're supposed to do.
And unfortunately, I think nowadays this case would have turned out way different. I don't think she would have gotten off.
I agree.
Because people are just way too emotional and they look at everything else but the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our forensics is a little more advanced and better at doing these things as well now.
For
today.
sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially the computer. I mean, the computer alone.
Mm-hmm. None of that would have happened with evidence.
You know, it's just funny because it wasn't really all that long ago. You know? 08.
Mm-hmm. Technology and everything changes quickly, though.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
So fast.
Especially with forensics and science.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the cold cases that are being solved with this new DNA technique that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's sad that this is how it happened, and rightfully so. Even if she did do it, and everyone believes that, they did their case to show there was no proof. So I mean, they didn't do their job, so they should be mad at themselves at this point.
Right, because it wasn't Jose Baez's job to convince the jury of her innocence. It was the prosecution's job to convince the jury of her guilt.
Correct.
Yeah,
And they did not do it.
Yep.
Craziness. All right, let's go back to Mr. Chloroform. We're almost done with him, and then the next segment is the canine search, the cross-examination of the canine
that I analyzed.
Did you testify? Did you test the steering wheel cover of the car?
You may.
Things got a little hairy there.
Doctor, I just want to conclude with these levels of, I guess, residue levels of chloroform that were found and tested are equal to what you might find in a common cleaning product, is it not, sir?
Yes, from my experience, those levels have been detected in substances that have been used for cleaning products, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Redirect.
Did you find any other substances that were consistent with cleaning products in your evaluation?
In evaluation of what exactly?
Of the samples. Was there anything else about the evaluation that would have indicated these were cleaning products?
I was specifically tasked with looking just for chloroform, so I really didn't do an analysis for cleaning products on these items.
What?
So let's talk. You talked to counsel about words like low, very low, residue. Those are all sort of vague comparative terms, correct? I mean, low as opposed to high is sort of depending on your perspective, correct?
They're subjective terms, yes.
Okay. Have you ever been called upon in your career to test a solid dry object for chloroform?
Before this, I can't recall ever specifically just looking for chloroform, no.
Your other experiences have always been in looking for chloroform in liquid form.
I have never really had an experience where something was submitted in a liquid form just looking for chloroform. However, there have been unknown liquids that I've analyzed using this technique where chloroform was identified.
Were those like product tampering kind of investigations?
Yes, that's the type of case. Product tampering or just general unknown analysis where they don't know what the substance is.
So what might be a high or low amount of chloroform in a carpet sample? Would you really have much of a perspective on that?
I would have nothing really to reference. We have, in order to answer that question appropriately, you'd want to do some control studies and spiking carpet samples with chloroform or whatever you're looking for and doing a validation kind of study.
Now, with reference to State's Exhibit 139 in evidence, the spare tire cover, how did that come to you?
It came to the chemistry unit through the normal operation of our laboratory through our evidence control unit.
Let me rephrase. How was it packaged?
Cross, rather.
Overall.
How was it packaged?
I'm sorry, that's specimen Q23?
Yeah, the trunk liner. How was it packaged?
That was found inside a box.
All right. Inside a cardboard box like the one we have in front of us here.
That's correct.
What effect would that packaging have on the levels of a volatile substance like chloroform on an object like this?
Overall.
Based on the properties of chloroform, it would allow chloroform to leak out. It's not an airtight container.
Were you, in fact, surprised that you got any chloroform off of this object?
Yes, I was.
Speculation.
Overall.
And explain to the jury why you were surprised that you got anything off that.
When I was initially tasked with doing this type of analysis, chloroform is a volatile substance, and it doesn't stay around very long under normal conditions that I use. Having an object come in like this package like that to detect for chloroform, I was very surprised to even get a result for chloroform.
Is that because you would have expected the chloroform to have volatilized?
Yes, volatilized and not been detected.
But yet you were still able to detect chloroform even on that unsealed object?
Yes, I was.
Now, rather than use high, low, there are actual numbers that we can apply to some of these issues about the amounts of chloroform. General numbers, are there not?
The numbers that you can compare to are the numbers of the intensity of the peak that on the graph when you get a peak. The height or the area of the peak, you can compare my positive control, the known amount of chloroform that I added to one sample versus the amount of chloroform that you would have detected on another object.
And that is basically what you're referring to as not a completely quantitative analysis, but sort of an idea of how much is there based on that comparison. Is that correct?
Yes, it would not be appropriate to say that would be a quantitative analysis, but you can get an idea, yes.
Now, the control, I think the internal standard, or was it the positive control, that you mixed? You said you mixed a control of chloroform, correct?
The positive control was a known amount of chloroform.
And you mixed that to a certain concentration, is that correct?
That is correct.
And what was that concentration?
Like, has this prosecutor lost you guys yet?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not even listening anymore.
Because he's confusing. He's not being clear like Baez was.
Right.
And even the expert is like, what?
Right.
Every time he answers, he's answering with a question.
The only thing I got out of it was that he was surprised it was still on there if it was such a low amount that it hadn't like evaporated or had gone away. So could that mean at some point it was a higher amount and that's why it lasted so long? I mean, that's what I would question, but they didn't really get into that.
You comprehended.
They didn't expand on it.
You guys comprehended hell a lot more than I did.
It was just that part that kind of caught me.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to get at as well. He's just not getting to the point.
He's just not getting to the point. Right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He didn't really clarify it for me.
Yeah.
But
And I think I'm pretty much done with this witness.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to the canine handler. This one's a good one.
He was a good witness, though.
Yeah, I hope we go.
Yeah, he was.
Are we going over the medical examiner? I'm really kind of sad if we don't.
Not tonight, no. We'll do that on another night.
You're killing me.
Well, do you know that this was a 6-week long trial, right?
I know. Just not the next 2 nights because I work. So then I'm off.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so This is 37 minutes in, 37:50. All right, here we go. No, we have lots to go over. I mean, we still have Lee. We have Kronk. We got lots of shiz.
Miss Burdick, I believe that you wanted to give it a document back? Yes, sir.
Hey, police and court.
You may proceed.
Mr. Burdick. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Deputy Forgy.
Good afternoon.
You were in that backyard, were you not?
Yes, I was.
It's not a very big backyard.
The lot line's not very large.
I'm sorry?
The lot line, I would say, is not very large, but that's up to personal perception.
Understood. Well, I hate to compare it to this courtroom, but it's there's less grass area than this courtroom, wouldn't you say?
Then the square footage of this, yes, it would be.
Given the pool?
Yes.
Given the playhouse?
Yes.
Given the lanai that's out there?
The lanai, the patio area?
The patio area.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. This playhouse area, where you marked the area that your dog showed interest, was approximately right around here?
The final trained alert?
Yes.
I don't have the photo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
Would you receive this back?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that's states numbered 43.
I'm sorry, let me clear out what I did, and you can show us again if you could. I apologize. Can you show the jury again where? And this area over here in this direction.
That's like a body size of a child,
would
Mark.
be a small walkway towards the shed, would it not?
There's another shed on the south side of the house.
Okay. Now, you testified that your dog has some training on residual odor, right?
He's been trained with residual odor, yes, sir.
And you gave, I believe, 3 examples of that?
I believe 2 examples.
2 examples. One was after 10 hours?
One was after 10 hours, yes, sir.
And what was the other one after how many hours?
10 days.
10 days.
So 24 times 10, 240.
You certainly have never had a situation where you've had to either train on or have a real world example prior to this case of 30 days. Is that correct?
A real world find after 30 days?
Find or training on residual odor after 30 days.
Fines, yes, I have real world fines older than 30 days.
That's not my question, sir. On residual odor.
Trying to understand your question.
All right, let me start from the beginning, so maybe I might be losing the jury too.
Yes.
Okay. Residual odor, when we talk about that, we're talking about possibly something at one time being somewhere and it's no longer there.
Correct.
Okay. And that could be either decomp fluid that's still there.
Correct.
Or it could be the scent that might still be there.
Correct.
Or it could not be there at all. It could be a false alert.
Have I What would be the question there?
Michael,
before I agree to
is
it.
That correct? Well, is that correct? I mean, when you run into a situation where you're trying to either train or you're deploying your dog and nothing is there that you can see, it could be either decom fluid that's there. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Okay. It could be decom fluid.
No problem. The odor that's still there.
The smell itself, yes.
Or it could be nothing there, which means it's a false alert.
It could be nothing there.
Right. There are such things as false alerts, right?
Yes.
Okay. The dogs are not infallible.
They are not perfect, no.
Okay.
Like humans.
And so it's one of those three things, correct?
Correct.
And unless you find something that indicates that a human body was there, you don't know which of the three it could be.
Unless I visually know it or a doctor finds something there.
Correct.
That's correct. Is it possible? Yes.
Like if you had DNA and you got DNA and you saw, okay, this person was there, that would be a confirmation that it wasn't a false alert, right?
Right. But there's also the possibility of having human remains with no DNA, bleached bones, stuff like that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, bones and things like that.
Correct.
I'm not just using DNA.
Okay.
Other findings. Now, the 2 trainings that you had were over a course of how many years with this dog?
The 2 that we referred to? Yes. One was September 2005, and one was July of 2007.
And
with
this
this
is
dog.
over a course of 5 years approximately?
I believe he worked over 6 years.
Okay. And those were the only 2 indications or only 2 training sessions that you had on residual odor?
That I recall, yes, sir.
Okay. And when you went to first see the car, you were informed that the Pontiac Sunfire was the suspect's vehicle.
It was, I believe what he said was it was the vehicle in question.
Okay. That would be the person who's either under arrest or the car's confiscated, right?
Later knowing, I don't think she was under arrest at that point, but person of interest, suspects.
Okay. Now, when you brought out the car from the garage, you brought it out because there was trash in the forensic bay area, right?
I don't know if I would classify it as trash. There was other items in the forensic bay.
Now, you don't work there, do you?
I don't work at forensics, no. I work at the sheriff's office.
In fact, you're not very familiar with the goings-ons in the forensic bay, are you?
You'd have to clarify that.
You're not too familiar with the forensic bay garage, are you?
In general, I have a little knowledge there, but do I work there in forensics? No, I do not.
Okay, so you don't know what trash was there, and that's why you asked to bring it out?
Correct.
Okay. So when you brought it out, you say, based on your training, you did a vehicle lineup.
Yeah, I swept another vehicle next to it. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you had one car who you knew had nothing to do with this case, and you had the car that you knew had to do with this case.
Vehicle in question. Didn't know about the case.
But you knew it was the vehicle in question. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, you testified that you quickly went through the first vehicle?
I testified that I swept the first vehicle.
Now, I saw that you had a video of one of your fines. Did you videotape this fine?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you not have a video camera available?
I'm sure there was one available.
But being as that you knew which car there was, you didn't think it would be advantageous to the jury or anyone to see if there were any cues that you were giving off to the dog?
If we could have predicted where we are today, it would have been videotaped. But it's not a common practice thing to videotape your real searches. Not at all.
You're familiar with this book, are you not, sir?
Yes, sir.
And this is your handbook.
It's not my handbook, no,
It's
sir.
the one that you're familiar with and you find authoritative, do you not?
Yes, but big difference between my handbook.
All right, I understand. In fact, this is written by Andy Rebel,
Yes, sir.
the person who you trained under at the school in Sarasota.
In '05 and '06.
Yes.
I feel like this
And
cop doesn't like him.
Are you familiar with the section that recommends that you videotape the lineups?
It's a recommendation that he offers, yes, sir.
And you're familiar with the portion that says this videotape, that the court may allow the videotape to be shown in court for the jury.
Correct.
And that is really more of authoritative than, well, I'll strike that. I don't want to be argumentative, but let me ask you this. You had a situation where you knew there was no body in that car, correct?
I believe it was just a vehicle in question is what I was told.
Forensics wouldn't have had you come out if they had a body in the car.
Or they had removed the body from the car. I have done those sweeps before where a body has been removed from a trunk and done a sweep.
Right, but my point is, you knew there was no body in the car.
At that time, correct.
So whatever you did would be scrutinized later, at a later time, would it not?
It's possible.
And despite all of that, of course, you chose not to videotape the scent lineup.
I don't have anything in my regulations, my policies, or procedures that refer that I have to do these things.
Now,
So I did not do that.
Now, what you submitted in this case were training logs, right?
Correct.
And these training logs are training that you do.
That I do?
Yes, you train your dog.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you train your dog a couple times a month?
Correct.
And when you train your dog, it's just you and the dog other than the times that you're being observed?
Sometimes there's other people there, yes. And then he's evaluated quarterly like I referred to.
So a couple times a year, someone else is present when you're training your dog?
It's possible.
And all of those logs, it's really just an indication of your work.
It's an indication of the dog and my work as a team.
Right, you guys are a team, so it's an indication of your work, right?
Is he hinting at like, so we're just taking this guy's word on his dog finding this when he's training alone?
Yeah, because he didn't video record it, so that is all there is to go on is his word and
that's
his
why
interpretation of his dog's alerts.
right, like his logbook. That's what he's pretty much saying. No one else was around, so you're just saying your dog did find these things. But
Yeah,
why didn't he video both spots that marked? Why just one?
I don't know.
See,
We're pretty much
there's
just taking
no-
his word for it.
He
There's
said
another
because-
reasonable doubt. That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like he said that he didn't have to. That's why he didn't.
Right. But he should have.
Yeah, I don't like that. So in other words, dude, you don't go above and beyond. You're out there searching for a missing child and you don't go above and beyond. You're lazy.
Right.
Yeah, and he
You're
also
just doing your
said
bare
that,
minimum.
he said that if he knew that they would be where they are now, then it definitely would have been video recorded.
Yeah, he should walk into every situation like he is where he is right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because and Jose's doing a great job by saying, so you also don't have people around when you're riding your dogs doing these great finds. We're just taking your word, just like the car. I mean, he's pretty much just put this guy under the bus, really.
Right. It's like
another okay, done.
Right.
He's destroying every single one of them.
He is just like bam, 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 bam. It's like dominoes. Like
That's really kind of sad because Kaylee deserves so much better than this. And like, I was so I'm literally mad at myself that I was so upset with this case, like obsessed, I should say. And now I'm rewatching it and I'm literally disgusted that I didn't notice this much shit.
Welcome to Jay is for Justice podcast.
They did a good job. Like, every case should be reevaluated. I mean, this is crazy.
It is crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Nuts.
This is why she walked, and it's sad. It's really sad.
It's freaking mind-blowing, honestly.
And there's still no... And my thing I still don't understand is why was it just because she's done, no one bothered to see really what happened to her? Why did it just end? We just take that...
They're not still searching? Is it still an open case?
Exactly. Yeah. No justice. There was no justice for her at all.
Nothing.
You know, people constantly talk about Jean Benet, but what about Kaylee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
everyone's so damn sure that Casey did it. But we have no evidence of that.
Yeah.
Really, we don't. They had nothing.
Mm-hmm. And they also don't have any evidence to point towards anyone else either. So they can't even...
Right. It's a big nothing burger, right?
They didn't even really question anyone else or have suspect anyone else, you know?
But here's the thing. Had they gone through all of that evidence with swabs and all of that, later now we could possibly have DNA of something else. We could have other things that could be forward. But they botched it right from the get-go, so you can't even re-examine any of that to find someone else.
Mm-hmm. And this was evidence for a child's murder.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And a child's murder that they didn't have a body for how many months?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they really needed to seal this tight. And they failed.
They didn't.
They failed.
Close.
They took a narrative, pinned it on her, watched the media make America and the world hate her. And they sat back and thought it would be a slam dunk. And they were sloppy as hell.
Can I say it's kind of like Scott Peterson?
Yeah, I was going to say, how many times does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Well, why do you think prosecutors dropped Barry Morphew's case?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a body. They have no evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They jumped the gun on that one, too.
Oh, they fucked up a lot of things. Oh, yeah. That one is just like, oh my God, that's one for the books.
Why they withdrew? Yeah. Because when they found out she didn't have her stuff up to date, they would have thrown that right out. His lawyers are brutal.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the fail of the century.
Really. But I think they dropped out so they could leave it open, because I think if it would have went any further, they wouldn't have, and it would have got thrown out. They wouldn't have been able to.
Unless they find her.
Just like this.
Unless they find her, he's a free man.
Mm-hmm.
They need her body.
They better have surefire evidence that Barry Morphew did it if they bring charges against that man again.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the canine.
Yeah.
He's literally handing this guy his own ass, in my opinion.
And like Charles said, it's sad because all the evidence did come from their house, and it means nothing. It's just sad.
Yep.
Right? Dog doesn't get a paycheck, doesn't reap any benefits from this. It's an indication of your work, is it not?
It's an indication of our work as a team.
And you put in, when you train your dog, it is not blind testing, is it not?
If I'm training my dog, it is not blind testing, correct.
And for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what blind testing means is that you know where the target is of the search.
I know where it is, yes, sir. If I lay it out, but there are also unknown finds.
Understood. And the times that you evaluate with your evaluated, unless it's indicated, those are also not blind testing, are they?
Unless it's indicated on the log, if it's an unknown find,
right?
That's correct. His real world finds would be unknown finds to everybody.
Now, part of what the dog gets as a reward is your praise.
Handler praise, yes.
And the dog wants to please you.
Absolutely.
And that is its motivation when it finds something. Part of the motivation.
Part of the motivation, yes. It's part of their drive.
Now, going back to the search of the home, you were called after your alert or your dog full train alert in the backyard. They
look at him smirk.
CSI was called out.
They hate each other.
Sergeant Brewer was called first, and then the forensic CSI were called. Yes.
And they then began to dig and search for remains in the backyard.
Like I've said before multiple times, it's not. I don't think they dug. I don't know for sure. I know what it appeared to be is what they scraped the surface, but I wasn't present.
They went looking.
Absolutely.
And they didn't find anything.
No, they did not.
And then they called you out the next day to come out.
Yes, sir.
And the next day you came out.
Yes, sir.
And tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened.
The next day, after they had done what they were doing, scraping the surface and moving the area, I did not get any alerts.
Now, you issued a police report when you searched the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
And that's the one.
Yeah, because that was another thing that we went over last night. That Cindy and George, like Candace and Grandis, were planting flowers after Kaylee went missing.
We planted flowers on the side of the house.
They did all that landscaping. They put the pavers in the little house. They did all of that after she went missing. So is that why they're like, is that what they were searching? Was the areas that they had just freshly redone?
No, they just searched the area that the dog hit on, but then when the dog came back the next day after they took that layer off,
It was gone.
There was no hit. It didn't hit at all.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what he's trying to get at is your dog didn't really hit on shit.
Like your dog's not really reliable.
Right.
Your dog is like your hero.
Yeah.
He's making this guy. He's getting really mad because this guy's really defensive of his dog.
Oh, well, I mean, and they are.
Yeah, and they should be. But
That's their
yeah,
partner.
he's getting right at him though. He knows what to say to get under this dude's skin.
Mm-hmm.
One that Mr. Greenberg had shown you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you searched the backyard and you didn't, and on one day you had an alert and the next day you didn't do a report on that.
That's correct.
And in your logs, all of your logs, you have no reports of in 06, the 5 calls that you had where there was no alert.
That there's not a training log? Is that what you're referring to?
No, you have no police reports. I'm not talking about training. I'm talking about, as you like to call, real-world deployments.
In 06?
Yes.
I had 6 searches, not 4.
Right. And you don't have no police reports for those searches, correct?
I do have a report, yes, sir.
For the find?
For the find, yes, sir.
But for the others, you do not?
No.
Okay. And in 07, the 9 calls that you had, you have no police reports for those?
Correct. No reports on the 9 searches with no alerts. Correct.
Then in 08, you had 3 alerts.
Yes.
2, I presume, are from this case, correct?
Correct. Your client's car
but you
and
have
the backyard.
No other, for the other 70, I'm sorry, that would be 68 calls, you have no police reports for those?
That's correct.
Why not?
You have no idea whether evidence was later found at those locations where your dog missed or your dog did not alert, correct?
On which one? On your client's car?
No, on all of the other searches that we're talking about.
Specifically, I documented 2 of those because of the shallow graves that I did. The one I testified to earlier was 7/23 of 2008. I have the location. It was a tip that we got in this case. It looked like a shallow grave. I went and did the search, got no alert. Forensics dug it because of this case and found animal remains. And then the second one was 8/11 of 2008, and I have the location and everything. And same thing, forensics dug that and found animal remains. And no alerts, no false alerts, no alerts.
Deputy Forgy, you were eventually in December of 2008 deployed to Suburban Drive where Kaylee Marie Anthony's remains were found.
Correct.
And when you went out there, you knew that a body had been there.
Yes.
And in fact, you were called out there because, of course, there were still some missing bones.
There was, yes, a couple of small bones were still missing from her.
And your dog did not find any remains or bones there.
I did not recover the missing remains, no.
And as a matter of fact, sir, your dog did not give any alerts at all on Suburban Drive where you knew Kaylee's remains were at.
I don't know. It's a matter of fact. You asked me before, and he was alerting and trying to get to where I already knew the target was because I asked him specifically. I wouldn't allow him to get to that because I'm looking for other items, just like in real-world training. Like I testified before, where we went out and a body had been removed. If you know it's here and I'm looking for other missing items and missing bones, why would I want him to go there and alert? So I want to remove him from there. Was he alerting and trying to get there? Yes. Was I trying to keep him from that? Yes. Was I making him move and search because we figured it was pulled away, disarticulated by animals, which is common, and they'll obviously remove little bones away. So I wanted to search away from that area.
Do you recall giving a deposition in this case on November 29th, 2010?
Yes, I do.
And do you remember that you were placed under oath?
Yes, I do.
And do you remember that I was present?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Drain Burdick was present?
Yes, sir.
And other representatives from the State Attorney's Office?
Yes, and Mr. Mason.
Do you recall being asked a question? I'm sorry, page 81, lines 23.
What was it?
Lines 23 through 25 and page 82, line 1. Do you recall being asked a question? He didn't give any alerts at all. And your response being, no, sir. Well, yes, he showed some interest. He showed interest, change of behavior, blah, blah, blah. He did give me his final. Did he give me his final alert? No, sir. Do you recall making that statement, sir?
Yes, I do. And that's what I was just referring to and testifying to. Was he alerting? Yes. Did
I don't have a pending question, sir. Hold on.
Don't break my door, you fucking bitch.
The witness shall be permitted to finish his answer. You may finish your answer, sir.
Thank you, sir. What I was saying is, I testified and at the deposition that the dog was alerting to it, but he didn't give me a final trained alert. Like I explained earlier, he's trying to get the source. I didn't want him to get the source. So he wasn't going to give me a final trained alert over there because I didn't want him to get to there. We were looking for items that they hadn't found. I believe they're really small bones. I don't remember exactly if it was a toe or a finger or what it was, but they knew what they were missing. So I didn't want them to get there. So is that what I was referring to? Absolutely. He didn't give me a final trained alert because I wouldn't allow him to do that. I kept moving him.
You were called out there to find human remains, were you not, sir?
The couple of missing bones. Couple pieces, the missing bones.
You were called out there to find human remains.
Sustain.
Would you consider that human remains? Bones?
Yes.
You didn't find any human remains.
They've been recovered. I didn't find any, no, sir.
Neither did your dog.
No, sir.
And your dog did not give a final train alert anywhere on Suburban Drive.
Correct. I would not allow him to give me a final trained alert or go to where the body was recovered.
You wouldn't allow him to help you find human remains.
I wouldn't allow him to go to where the body was recovered. They had how many forensic people at that source filtering it? I knew if they had gone through it as well as they had done this whole area, that it wasn't there. They had already sifted that area. He was going there because of the odor. I didn't want him. I wanted him to find what had been removed, so we could have a complete.
Wait, doesn't the dog have
body.
to have like
And he didn't find.
the initial scent and then he sends them off?
Correct.
I've never heard of a handler having to keep a dog like so strictly away from the source.
Well, I think because they don't want him going straight to where her body was, because obviously they know that was cadaver smell. So he's keeping it away. So like if she was drug in that spot, there would be marks other places, or clothing or items that would have been associated with her decomp. So once he puts them to that spot, he's just going to want to be at that spot and not look for any other spots.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that direct spot had already been searched,
Right.
so they knew that nothing was going to be there. He wanted his dog to search a wider area.
Correct.
So it makes
So
sense. that
Jose's
he-
just giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that bit was kind of annoying.
Right. I'm kind of done with this witness. Do you guys want to continue on with this witness?
Yeah. No, move on.
No.
Okay. Well,
He's getting destroyed, so.
he really
Yeah.
he's pretty much done. I
It
mean,
was done a while ago.
there's really not a whole lot of coming back from that.
Jose's like, yeah, I'm done with you.
All right.
Yeah, he was
well,
getting really still.
that's all I had for tonight. I didn't have anything else because we were up so late last night. I'm like, everybody's going to probably want to go to bed. We've been going for 2 hours.
I want to go to bed.
I know you do. I want to go chill out though, man. My back hurts. Sitting in this chair for like 6 hours last night killed me. Like I'm no spring chicken no more. Hi, alligator. How's the lamp?
Oh, it's the lamp.
I know. Is that your
Oh.
lamp going? Hi, potato.
Hello.
Coming to you. Oh, hey, I have some news. I took my British tea, and
Ooh.
I made tea, like iced tea with it. So I'll let you know how it turns out.
Iced tea.
Yeah.
Ew. That's so wrong.
No, it's not.
You don't drink iced tea when it's hot out?
Not with those tea bags.
Really? What kind of tea bags do you use when it's hot out?
No, it's different
Tell
iced
us.
tea. Flavored teas.
Well, it just said English tea, so I thought that was just like your basic black
Yeah,
tea.
you need that hot with milk.
Milk. Not
Milk.
cream, but milk.
No, just milk. Hot water, let it brew, and then put some milk
How
in it.
strong do you make it though?
Strong. You gotta let
How
it
long do you let it steep?
for a while.
I was gonna say because like
You
I
got-
like
you know-
dark coffee, so like a tea's
I
gotta be
like-
pretty damn.
Yeah, I like strong tea, so I leave the tea bag in for as long as possible, and then put the milk in.
Does it turn cold? My tea's gone cold. I wonder why.
Yeah, you don't want any iced tea with that tea bag.
Well, I'll let you know. I actually okay. So all right, I have to share this. So it's a redneck thing that I learned when I lived in Perry, Georgia. If anybody's familiar with Perry, it is very, very redneck, and I say that with lots of love, right? So, anyways, I lived with this couple. We were staying with this couple, and she used to make sweet tea, and she made it in the coffee pot, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Well, she was brilliant because, sweet tea is super sweet. And you can't add sugar to cold tea. It does not dissolve, right? So what she would do is she'd put her tea bags where the coffee went, put the water in, and then the tea would brew in, and she'd put like 2 cups of sugar in the coffee pot, and then it would brew in, the hot water would melt the sugar, and then she had sweet tea. She just let it cool down, put it in the damn pitcher, and put it in the fridge. Yeah, it's amazing. So I did that today with British.
Alligator, you're muted.
You're muted now.
Oh, she is.
Your mouth is moving, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah, that's how my grandma makes it too, from the south.
Does she? Keep on knocking, but you can't come in.
I know, I'm pulling on Jay.
You did that last night too. Yeah, I thought that was an amazing trick to get it nice and sweet. But up north in Michigan, we don't sweeten our tea. So we drink it just straight out plain tea with ice. So take your tea out of your mug, put it over ice, and there you have iced tea. But you like iced coffee, so it's really not that much different.
Yeah,
Put some milk in it.
Drinks just black tea.
What about chai? Chai tea? What's that new thing? I'm not chai tea. Oh, is it gross?
It is
Chai
to me.
tea's good.
I've never had it. I'm scared to.
I like just plain black tea. That's
Me too.
it.
Like Red Rose. My mom used to buy the boxes of Red Rose. She'd have all those little she'd give me those little statues. You guys remember the little statues in Red Rose tea? Okay. Yep.
That's our age, Jay.
I think they still put them in there, so shut it. I think the Red Rose things, but they're probably plastic now, though. They're not little ceramic dealios anymore.
No.
But, I'm really intrigued with cold brew coffee. I didn't know the difference. I was like, what's the difference? There's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
The way they get it ready to be brewed is totally different. Like you can't just brew hot coffee and make it cold brew. It's not the same.
I don't drink hot coffee. I only drink cold brew iced coffee.
Yeah, we know. We know. Out of the can.
I don't drink the cans anymore.
Oh, you don't?
I buy the cold brew Starbucks and I
Oh.
drink it just plain, and then I just put my creamer.
You create it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Heather the Invisibrat said that she's guessing potato is an Earl Grey kind of gal.
No, and I replied, I'm not. Earl Grey is disgusting.
Is it
I mean,
gross?
Yorkshire tea person.
Yorkshire is the best.
I got Earl Grey for Christmas from my mother-in-law, and she's 70, so.
Potatoes, come on, it's like the Boston Tea Party. She knows the tea. So
I've got tea.
Earl Grey, you're out.
Yeah, that is a no. I like Yorkshire tea because it's quite strong.
Never heard
Or
of Yorkshire tea. Is that what I have?
Yes. No.
Oh,
I
that's
should
just
say-
black tea. It's
Yeah.
cute. It's in a little double-decker tin. It's on the back of my stove. I know, it's cute. I like my Coca-Cola Zero too, Brandy. But I do love me some iced coffee as
That's
well.
what I'm drinking today. That's my British Coke.
Oh my gosh, she's got British Coca-Cola.
Name.
Say it isn't so. And it's zero. It's not diet. It's actually zero.
Yeah.
We're
I
gonna
don't
get
like
that.
Coke
Yeah,
Zero
we're
is the
gonna-
best, man.
We're gonna get it.
I know. I noticed Cher was in here, and she said we're having hamburgers, French fries, and Pepsi. And I was like, oh sweet, she can go for the Pepsi one. I'll go for the Coke. We'll do taste tests. Remember back in the 80s, the cola or the Coke or the what was it? What did they call that? There was a name for it, and they would go around and do it at different events. The taste test, or they had a name for it, but it was Pepsi versus Coke. And I don't remember who even held the commercials. Do you? Was it in favor of Pepsi or Coke?
I don't remember.
Bad marketing scheme there.
My brain is like that. I do know that they actually used to have cocaine in their Coke.
Yeah.
They did.
They absolutely did.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Heather says, I love when Jay gets excited about British things. I do. I've always been like intrigued by like other countries and their stuff. Like she sent me some snacks and stuff, and I was just like looking at their wrappers. I'm like, this is so weird.
And you were like, what is prawn cocktail?
Ew, these chips she sent me. Oh my god, stop it. It's a bag. Okay, it looks like off-brand Lay's because they have like a secondary Lay's there. So they try to make it look like Lay's, and it's called prawn. Oh my god, I'm throw up. Prawn cocktail, and they're chips.
That's
And
what we
there's-
call shrimp.
Yes. Like, look, okay, so the emoji on your phone of the shrimp looks just like the freaking picture on the chip bag, and I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Did you try it?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Do it now.
No, I have a problem with shrimp. I got sick on shrimp cocktail one time with pitchers of beer. I can't. And then when I saw it called prawn, I was like, "Holy, woo, that gives a whole new meaning."
Let Bella have one. See what she thinks.
Oh, yeah. I think they're spicy.
Oh.
They look like
They're not spicy.
Are they fishy?
Dude, I think the bag is like red, like it's spice or something.
Pink. It's a pink bag like a prawn.
Prawn.
Weird.
Oh,
Why
will
What are
you
you
get
guys
me?
eating over there?
Will you get me a bag of prawn cocktail when you go to the store? Like, what?
Hey, at least you like the hobnobs.
I loved everything.
Just
But
the
that-
prawns.
I mean, shrimp flavored chips. Who would have thunk it?
Are they
Only in
really
Britain.
shrimp-flavored?
Apparently potato.
Potato
Are they
chips.
really shrimp flavored potato?
Yes.
Are they what?
Are they really shrimp flavored?
They taste like Thousand Island dressing. You know, like the sauce that you have on.
The mystery sauce.
It doesn't really taste like fish. And it's not spicy.
But you know that there's fish in Thousand Island dressing? Did you know there's sardines in it?
No.
Does the bag smell like fish? Like when you open it, does it
No, it
smell
doesn't.
like the ocean?
Oh, I thought you were asking me. I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you gotta at least try one.
Yeah, you have to try it.
All right. Not tonight.
Not today, Satin.
Not today, Satin. Mm-mm. Heather, no, you just say, grab me some crisps.
We
Yeah,
all
give
need
me-
to have a girls' road trip to see potato.
Oh, God, that'd be so funny. Oh, shit. Could you see us all on a double decker?
Oh my god, that would be so fun.
You know what would be really cool? Do they have like the double deckers that you can pedal? You know, like those party.
That
like
sounds dangerous.
potato. We can start a business there. Okay, so hear me out. They do it here all the time. So you go to like a party area where there's bars and shit, right? So what we'll have is we'll have a double decker. It'll look like a double decker bus, but you have a guy that pedals and drives it, and then you have all these idiots on the back, and there's a bar in the middle with a bartender, and there's pedaling and throwing up and drinking. But we could do it with the double decker red bus.
Yeah, because you want people up top puking down on you.
Sure. That's what it's all about, right?
That sounds like such a plan. You can go on the bottom.
Maybe it is Caesar dressing, Pamela. Maybe I am wrong.
Yeah, Caesar does have sardines in it. Or no, anchovies. Anchovies.
Ew,
Bella,
I love
stop.
seafood. I didn't know that. I mean, I like seafood, but not sardines or anchovies or whatever the hell you said.
Oh, sardines? What's the difference?
I don't know.
I think they're the same. I think they just call them different.
Bella? I'm going to give Bella some privacy.
She needs it.
She does, man.
She's doing what we are.
Stop. Stop.
Oh.
Lordy.
Oh, God, help me.
They sell those dried shrimp in a bag at my gas station. They look, oh my God.
Ew.
Oh, maybe it's bait, Kelly Dime.
Oh, God, please don't eat the bag of dried shrimp.
No, now you have to get them.
Oh,
Callie Dime, send me a bag of the shrimp from the gas station. I'll look at him
Heather,
live. I'll look
did
at him
you
live.
really?
What?
Heather, Bella, we can see your pancake.
Oh my god.
Bella and the Jets.
Oh my god, I'm gonna pee.
Who would have ever thought that revisiting the damn Casey Anthony case would have brought this?
Yeah.
Nope.
It's just crazy to me how much like nobody like really paid that much attention.
I think we need to do one focus live and call it George's Pancakes and Cindy's Jets and see if they come into the live.
I think they're gonna not come into anything that has anything to do with this.
George's Pancakes, Cindy's Jets. Casey, we love you. I wonder if Casey would come in the live.
I mean, you see Casey, but do you ever see anything about anyone spotting?
Yeah, he had he got in some accident. Here, let's do the.
Yeah, I've seen that. He almost died.
Well, let's do a latest and greatest. Let's just do a Google because I haven't Googled these people, and let's just see what the latest thing comes up. I think it was Dr. Phil. And Cindy looks terrible. I feel so bad. I did feel bad.
Yeah, I heard he almost died in a really bad
Yeah,
accident.
he had like some weird thing, like one of those braces, like on his head. He looked bad.
Like what
He's got brain
happened?
damage from it as well.
I'm not sure. Let me see if I can't find out.
He rolled it 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, here's a picture. Okay, here, let me share my screen with you.
I mean, attempted.
Oh, he looks freaking pitiful. I
Obviously,
can't.
they don't want the big man upstairs. Don't want him.
Holy. No, he's pitiful. Okay, here we go.
Holy!
Oh my gosh!
He looks like he's aged like.
Wait, hold on. Let me make it a
15
little.
years.
Oh, he looks terrible. Both look terrible.
Wow.
Okay, so let's click on it and see.
Wow.
Damn, look at him.
Oh, he looks awful.
He looks like he has some kind of
Like, is he senile now?
brain damage.
He does have brain damage from it.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he does. Cindy stopped working to look after him.
What? I did not know this.
Yeah.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah, he's bad.
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Yes, sir. Has your daughter
That's sad.
called you? Has
It is
Casey
sad.
reached out?
She did reach out to ask how I was.
Would you
She
like
ain't
to
no-
see
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm playing a video and you can't
I
see
would.
it.
I mean, honestly, I
No.
would. I would like to just tell her I'm sorry. You know, that I forgive
fuck.
her.
He sounds fine to
forgive
me.
her. And that's hard for me to say.
Oh,
But
no, he
you know what?
doesn't. Oh,
I need to
shit.
be
This is.
forgiven
Okay, you
by
guys.
her and my son
He
and
looks
other
bad.
family members or friends that I care so much about.
Oh,
Forgive me for what I've done
He
to,
didn't do
to all of our
anything.
lives.
It was an accident.
Oh.
Wait, what?
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for McDonald's, that wasn't a road trip.
Listen to this. Holy hell. She said it was an accident. He said, forgive me.
For everything I've done. Is she talking about a car accident or his whole life of what happened?
Yeah, I need some context to that.
Well, I'll see if I can find out more after this, but here.
me most?
Yes, sir.
Has your daughter called you? Has Casey reached out?
She did reach out to ask how I was.
Would you like to see her?
Yeah, I would. I mean, honestly, I would. I would like to just tell her I'm sorry. You know, that I forgive her. I forgive her. And that's hard for me to say. But you know what? I need to be forgiven by her and my son and other family members or friends that I care so much about.
Oh,
Forgive me for what I've done
He
to,
didn't do
to all of our
anything.
lives.
It was an accident.
Holy.
Forgive me for what I've done to all of our lives.
You didn't do anything. It was an accident.
And she's like, wait.
Other family members? What? Who does he need to apologize to other family members and what for?
And then other family members. I don't know. Keep playing.
It's over. That's it. Let me see. I was going to say this is Dr. Oz, 2019.
Does it say more in the writing?
He says that Casey checked on him after the accident. Just quotes that. Okay, so it says, when asked if he'd like to see his daughter, Anthony answers quickly, yeah, I would, he says. I mean, honestly, I would. I would just like to tell her I'm sorry, that I forgive her. What, forgive her for sleeping or forgive her for not watching Kaylee? I forgive her, and that's hard for me to say. But you know what? I need to be forgiven by her, my son, and other family members or friends that I care so much about. Forgive me for what I've done to all of our lives. His wife, Cindy Anthony, interjects, you didn't do anything, she says to him on the show. It was an accident. She's talking about the car accident.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't talking about the car accident. How could he? Was he drunk?
I don't know. His vehicle veered off. It was saying what happened.
I know. I'm skimming it. He wasn't drunk or anything. So why would he be so remorseful? Okay, so he was driving his wife's Toyota 4Runner on an interstate in Orlando. His vehicle veered off the right shoulder. He attempted to swerve back and lost control. The vehicle flipped several times, crossing all lanes of traffic before coming to a stop on the left median of the road. He was the only person in the SUV at the time of the crash, and his airbag did not deploy because he didn't strike anything. It's unclear if he was wearing a seatbelt. That's it. The Florida Highway Patrol stated his injuries as incapacitating. And then it goes on to talk about their relationship.
Oh, right here. Now things are different, and Anthony says that he forgives his daughter for what she has put her mom, me, my son, and also not having Kaylee here anymore. I would forgive her for all of this stuff.
It also says in this article, 2 months after the accident, George, who ended up with brain damage, he confuses left for right, has memory problems, and cannot use his left hand properly.
Weird. I did not even know this happened. Yeah, he cheated, but why would he need to apologize to friends and family? Like their family was all in Ohio. Like they left Ohio. Her parents were down here. He had that falling out with his father. So, yikes. I don't know.
I've come to understand it's the only.
Why would he talk that deep about?
Yeah.
Losing control on the highway.
It was Cindy's reaction that got me. Like she jumped. She was like, "No, it was an accident."
Yeah. She looked concerned for a minute.
Yeah, because I think she was trying to okay, he's talking about the accident. It was an accident. Here, let's watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting, isn't it? Now, after we've...
Yeah, she jumped forward to, cut him off before he said too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird. Longest damn ad ever, 30 seconds.
And maybe he's just saying to forgive, because he cheated.
Happy girl, if you find anything, feel free to hit us up. She said she's digging in this rabbit hole tonight.
Sweet.
Here we go.
Welcome. Yes, sir. Has your daughter called you? Has Casey reached out?
She did reach out to ask how I was.
Would you like to see her?
Yeah, I would. I mean, honestly, I would. I would like to just tell her I'm sorry. That I forgive her. I forgive her. And that's hard for me to say. But you know what? I need to be forgiven by her and my son and other family members or friends that I care so much about.
Oh,
Forgive me for what I've done
to
all of our
anything.
lives.
It was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
She's treating him like he's stupid.
Yeah.
She was trying to stop him from talking as well.
Wait, you.
Oh,
Yeah.
the look on her face was like, what are you saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree, Onesie. Maybe he will let the truth out before he leaves this world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's any other updates on them. Let's see.
I know they
That's 2019.
still live in the same place.
Nikki Swift, inside George and Cindy Anthony's lives today, February 15th of 2022. Okay, Casey's parents, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what happened to them after the trial? Is their marriage intact? Da, 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 da. Okay, so here we go. When Kaylee disappeared in 2008, George and Cindy held out hope their granddaughter was alive. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so George digested the prosecution's case and reportedly came to the conclusion that Casey may have accidentally killed Kaylee with chloroform. Popular theory among armchair detectives. George shared this belief during an interview with Crime Watch Daily in October of 2017 and again in May 18 with A&E. During an emotional interview with A&E, I'm going to have to watch that tonight.
Mm-hmm.
George said he's convinced Casey gave Kaylee something to make her sleep, and then the little girl never woke up. As for Cindy, she doesn't buy George's view. They're still at odds. Cindy told Crime Watch Daily that she suspects Kaylee accidentally drowned in the family's swimming pool. The defense team's version of events. I truly, honestly don't think she killed her, Cindy said. I don't know if it was an accident or what happened. I don't know if Casey got distracted and Kaylee drowned in the pool. Their grandson keeps them going. Anthony's older brother Lee welcomed a son, Parker Lee Anthony, into the world August 22nd, 2013. So that kid is 9.
Mm-hmm.
The birth marked a happy occasion in George and Cindy's otherwise dark lives, and the two credit Parker as their reason for living. When asked if Parker saved his life, George said to Crime Watch Daily, "Oh yeah, he did."
When was this article written? Oh, sorry.
February of this year.
Oh, okay.
Cindy is on the same page when it comes to Parker's influence. He keeps me going, knowing that I see him and have my time with him. It's not the same as with Kaylee. Kaylee lived with me. And he knows that playhouse was Kaylee's. Additionally, Cindy and George talk about Kaylee with Parker all the time, something they find comforting. Her pictures are everywhere, Cindy said. Although Parker will never fill the void Kaylee's death created, it's nice to know the couple has found joy again. Their relationship can be tense. When a couple goes through a traumatic event together, it's not uncommon for the relationship to change. No one knows this better than Cindy and George. They struggle on a daily basis to keep their marriage afloat amid constant public scrutiny. The truth reared its ugly head during a tense A&E interview in 2018. The couple was grilled about the lies Casey told her parents and the authorities before Kaylee's body was found in December of 2008. Cindy, who appeared frustrated with the questions, seemingly lost it when George complained that he was often blamed for his daughter's misdeeds. Appearing to take a jab at her husband, Cindy snapped, "Casey learned by example. You lied to me for several years, and that's where our daughter got it." Oh,
bam.
Wow, damn.
Man. This was in 2018. These two are still going at it.
So maybe that's what he needs to apologize. You were probably right. He's probably been unfaithful most of their lives.
God, I just didn't think it would be that. No, that was Shell that said that, not me. The conversation took a turn for the worse when George told Cindy not to deny the notion that he was blamed for different things. Anthony did throughout the years. Cindy then stormed off the interview set as George yelled at her to shut up.
Whoa.
Following the outburst, George consoled a crying Cindy in their bedroom, and she apologized for her remark. One can only hope these two will be able to navigate this tough terrain in a more peaceful way in the future. They remain close with their daughter's prosecutor. Considering former prosecutor Jeff Ashton sought the death penalty in their daughter's murder trial, one would assume he's not on good terms with Casey's parents. The truth is, he's kept in touch with them throughout the years. They met up with him during A&E's special in May 2018. Why are they close?
That's really weird.
It may have to do with Ashton defending George against Casey's sexual molestation allegations. Not only did Ashton challenge Casey's claims that George molested her at a young age, but he also gave the grandparents a heads up about the defense's plan to bring the shocking allegations at trial. Simply put, Ashton has been an unlikely ally for George and Cindy throughout the ordeal. When Ashton sat down with the couple in 2018, he continued to lend his support. After George expressed concern that he was the reason for Casey's acquittal, the defense alleged that he disposed of Kaylee's body following the supposed drowning accident. Ashton assured him that this wasn't the case. This verdict was not about you. This was about her and those jurors. Ashton told George in A&E, don't for a minute take any kind of responsibility for this. This jury didn't acquit her because of you. There was so much evidence in this case. The jury acquitted her because they didn't want to convict her. That's the bottom line. What?
Okay.
They've dismantled Kaylee's memorial. Although it's a bit of a cliche, it's true that everyone mourns differently. Just ask Cindy and George, who are often at odds with the public about how to properly grieve the loss of their granddaughter. Take the public memorial at the site where Kaylee's body was found. While many mourners found peace visiting the memorial, complete with a cross and stuffed animals, Kaylee's grandparents didn't find the site soothing. Not only was it too close for comfort, but they wanted to cherish happy memories of Kaylee instead of dwelling on her death. Simply put, the well-intended memorial was too painful for them. In the aforementioned A&E special, Cindy and George visit the memorial one last time before dismantling it. I don't want to come back here again, George said. Cindy and George reportedly plan to memorialize Kaylee through charity auctions instead, discussing the possibility of auctioning one of Kaylee's toy cars to benefit a worthy cause. What? Sometimes it feels as if George and Cindy can't catch a break. 10 years after Kaylee went missing, the couple received notice that their 3-bedroom home in Orlando is in foreclosure. According to court documents obtained by Radar Online in 2018, the couple hasn't made their mortgage payment of $765.82 since December of 2010. Uh-oh, it sounds like these grandparents are in a bit of a financial mess.
2010.
Zillow that and see if it's still, because it still
As
shows.
of June 2018, Cindy is set to appear in court on July 13th, 2018, for a non-jury trial to settle the foreclosure issue. Considering George and Cindy dodged foreclosure previously in 2013, it's possible they'll be able to find a solution. They have different relationships with Casey. Following Casey's shocking interview with the Associated Press in March 2017, in which she insinuated her daughter played a role in Kaylee's death, George and Cindy released a pointed statement that said in part, George, who has continued to try and move forward from this tragedy and who was vindicated on multiple occasions, is once again forced to relive the hints, rumors, lies, and allegations that are being made by Casey Anthony. The statement said George's heart hurts even more now. As of October 2018, Cindy reportedly still talks to Casey. Casey checked on me a couple months ago, Cindy told Crime Watch Daily. She had heard I was in the hospital. I mean, I'm still her mom. George, on the other hand, is done with Casey. I don't have a relationship with my daughter. I don't want to see her. I don't want to talk to her. I actually lost my daughter and my granddaughter in 2008. They're committed to their marriage. For starters, losing their marriage would only compound their grief. We have lost more than you could ever fathom. I don't want to lose any more. George cried to Cindy in the A&E special. Additionally, George and Cindy can relate to one another on a level most people probably couldn't understand. Not to mention, Cindy is George's biggest defender against allegations he was involved in Kaylee's death. When asked if she thinks her husband is guilty in some way, Cindy spoke to their daughter via the camera on Crime Watch Daily. Casey, be true to yourself. Start being honest with yourself and own everything and quit putting blame on everyone else. They support their son's need for privacy. I guess they don't really have much to say about that. They both feel Kaylee's... Oh, shit. Maligator, get out the lamp. They both feel Kaylee's spirit is present in their home. George and Cindy have reportedly found some solace in their shared belief that Kaylee's spirit remains close. George claims he's had multiple interactions with his granddaughter. I've seen Kaylee on a couple of occasions. I've walked with her down the hallway. She walked into her old room. I've seen her in the flesh. I've seen her in my house. He said she even woke him up one morning by tapping on him like she used to when she was alive. Oh, it wasn't a dream. Cindy supports her husband's stories and has some of her own. She told Inside Edition that she feels her granddaughter's presence in her bedroom. When you walk in, you look around and you can just imagine this cute little girl. And that's it.
So they avoided losing their home?
I don't know. You'd have to look on the Orange County court records. I would imagine. I mean, they still live there, so.
Yeah. Crazy.
They were still like going at each other. They still
believe two different stories.
Two different theories.
Like that. How do you do that?
But like they said, how do you partner with someone else after all of this? Like no one would ever understand what you've been through.
No.
It's almost like they're just stuck together until it's over.
It seems pretty toxic though.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very toxic.
Sad.
Yeah. I felt weird all day. Because like when we started doing this last night, I didn't feel like it was going to turn out that way. Like we started out last night and I was like crying as she was testifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a certain point where I was like, these people are all fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's strange.
It is. Potato, you need to go to bed.
I
Deborah,
do.
you need to go to bed.
I just
I first named her.
Named
no.
I really have to go.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm out.
I just don't understand the duct tape. We'll never understand the duct tape.
No. But we'll talk more about that though when Dr. G takes the stand. We'll talk about that duct tape. Scott Skulls says I feel weird every day. I'm not surprised. If you do these on your live, I'm not surprised you feel weird every day. Oh, Scotty Skulls. All right, you guys. I am out of here. I'm going to go relax. My back is killing me, man. Thank you for being here, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this panel. We will continue the Casey Anthony marathon. Slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
Heather says we all need to go to bed early tonight for real. We were up late talking to a lamp. Scott Skulls, if you missed it, fast forward to about 2 hours left in last night's live. You should get a kick out of that.
I have to stay up till 5 a.m. because I work tomorrow night, so I can't.
Again?
You can dig into the Anthony hole.
I'm going to.
Yeah, go on Orange County court records. Florida, you can get everything. Like you can even see the documents without having to pay.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig.
All right, guys, Orange County, do your research, and if you wanna come up here and tell us what you found, we will open up the phone lines next time. I figured out how to hook up my Google Voice to my stream, so like people can call in and we can like take calls like over. We'd hear it, and yeah, and like they can hear you and me. You know what I'm saying? Like we'd be like on a phone call. It'd be awesome. It's like a radio show.
Cool.
I'm such a reverter.
Roly poly, daddy's little fatty. Daddy's gonna be a man someday.
Don't you love how they can't hear it, you guys?
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
What?
Get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
Are you playing sound bites?
Before I pump your guts full of lead, alligator. I had to figure out, I'm like, am I mirrored? Such a damn reverter. All right, you guys, dance it out.
Reverter.
All right, guys, I love ya. Thank you, my fabulous panel.
Thank you.
You guys are the true reverters, really. Bye, cousin Tracy. Cousin, what did Cher call her?
Cousin Cindy.
Cousin Cindy. I'm gonna make a new name. No. Someone's gonna come in and be cousin Cindy. We should all be cousin. Like cousin potato. Cousin onesies. All right. Anyways, I'm being silly. I need to get some sleep. All right. Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Don't hang up with us.
Go drink your tea with milk.
Yes. Warm.
I don't give a damn. you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much.